guys, so today, which would be Wednesday, we are going to be talking about properties of operations to solve problems. So our central question or our learning goal today is how can you use properties of operations to solve problems? And that sounds very difficult, but we're just going to look at it and just break it down so it doesn't seem so difficult when you use your central question. All right, so I want you guys to get out your Go Math books and look on page 17. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now. So we're going to look at the properties of addition. So first of all, I wanted to say that addition and multiplication, they have similar properties, as you can see on your chart. So for both, if the order of the addends or factors changes, the sum or product, they're going to stay the same. So let's just look at properties of addition. So the commutative property of addition, if the order of the addends change, the sum stays the same. For the associative property of addition, if grouping, or the parentheses, of addends change, the sum also stays the same. And the identity property of addition is the sum of any number is 0 is that number, okay? That's pretty simple. So properties of multiplication, if the order of factors change, the product stays the same. If the grouping of factors changes, or the parentheses, the product will also stay the same. The product of any number, identity property of multiplication, is the product of any number, and 1 is that number. So I like to say, like, if I multiply a number by 1, that number that I multiply by 1 keeps its identity. So that's a good way to remember it. Just with the, just like the identity property of addition, 13 plus 0, when you add 0, that 13 is going to keep its identity. Okay, so so basically, it doesn't matter what order you solve problems that are just addition or just multiplication. It gets tricky when you've got addition and multiplication in the same one, or you've got a mix of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, which we'll get to that later. So let's flip over to page 19. We are going to let's just look at number 2. Let's look at number 2. Okay. So number 2, we've got 89 plus 27 plus 11. All right, so we don't have any parentheses, so we don't have to worry about that. We have just addition, so if we have just addition, we can just add all these numbers up. So let's just stack them. 89, 27, and 11. So 9 plus 7 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So put my 7 here, carry my 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 1 is 12. So we got 127. So we didn't have to worry about doing one thing first and the other one next. We just, if it's just addition, we can just add them all up. And if it's just multiplication, we can just multiply them all together. Okay, let's see. Let's look at number 10 together. Number 10 is 11 plus parentheses 19 plus 6 equals 11 plus blank plus 6. All right, so there's a property that we were just talking about. I want you to turn back to page 17 and look at those properties of addition. So we've got the first one. It says, if the order of addends change, the sum stays the same. That's a commutative property of addition. We've got associative property of addition is if the grouping, which is the parentheses, of addends change, the sum stays the same. So did the did the grouping of addends change? So did the grouping of the numbers in the parentheses change? Yeah, on this one, 11 is not in the parentheses, but in this one, 11 is in the parentheses. So to make these equal, all we have to do is fill in the blank of what we don't see on this side that we do see on this side. So we've got an 11, 11, a 6, and a 6. So it's got to be 19. Okay, and we said that was the associative property of addition. So you'll also need to fill that part in too. Associative property of addition. Okay. Let's do another one together. Let's look at number 8 together. All right, so we said if we have a problem and it's either all addition in the problem or all multiplication in the problem, then we don't have to worry about the order. So for number 8, we've got all multiplication, so we don't have to worry about the order. So we've got 4 times 60 times 5 equals. So if I don't have to worry about the order, I'm going to go ahead and do 4 times 5 first. So 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to bring that down, and then I'm going to do times 60. So here's a little trick. I'm going to underline my digits. I'm going to underline my numbers that are not zeros. So I've got a 2 here and a 6 here. These are my numbers that are not zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply these numbers out that are not zeros. So 2 times 6 is going to give me 12. Okay? And then I'm going to count the zeros that I have on each side. So I've got 1, 2 zeros. So now I'm just going to add 2 zeros, and that's my answer. That's just an easy way to do it if you've got zeros at the end. It will not work if you do not have zeros at the end. Okay. And let's just go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you guys what property of multiplication that was. So go ahead and flip back to page 17 in your Go Math book and look at your properties of multiplication. Is it commutative property of multiplication, associative property, or identity property? So first of all, I don't see any parentheses in this problem, so it can't be associative property of multiplication. I don't see any ones, so anything times 1 in this problem, so it can't be identity property. I think it's commutative property because it says if the order of factors change, the product always stays the same. Yeah, and so I rearranged the order a little bit to help me solve that problem more easily. So I think that's what it is. Okay. That's all I'm going to go over today for the properties of addition and multiplication. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know and I will get back to you. Thank you.